Why is it so hard to take action even when we know what we need to do? Here's the truth: waiting for the perfect moment or motivation is the quickest way to stay stuck. If you're tired of feeling stuck, keep watching. What I'm about to share will change how you approach every day. Everyone has dreams, goals, and ambitions, but why do so few actually achieve them? It's not because of a lack of talent or opportunity. It's because they don't take consistent action. In this video, we'll explore why taking action daily is crucial, why most people fail, and how you can start forcing yourself to act, even when you don't feel like it. The comfort zone trap. Let's be honest, comfort feels good. It's easier to stay where you are than to face change. Whether it's starting a project, hitting the gym, or having a tough conversation, action often feels overwhelming. But here's the hard truth: the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Inaction breeds doubt, and doubt kills progress. You probably said, "I'll do it tomorrow." Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And before you know it, you're stuck. The real question is, how do you break free? Why taking action matters. Action builds momentum. Have you ever heard the saying, the hardest part is just getting started? It's true. Think of it like trying to push a car. When the car is sitting still, it takes a tremendous amount of effort to get it moving. But once it's rolling, it doesn't take as much energy to keep it going. Action works the same way. In the beginning, everything feels difficult. You might sit there thinking, how am I ever going to get this started? But once you take that first step, something changes. It's like flipping a switch. The first action, no matter how small, creates momentum that pushes you forward, making the next step feel a little easier. Let's break this down further. Imagine you're starting a workout routine. The first day you feel exhausted and you might think, what's the point? I'm so out of shape, but then you push through. You might not feel the effects on day one, but the next day you're one step closer to making it a habit. The second day isn't as hard. The third day becomes easier still. Before you know it, you've built the momentum that keeps you going, and the workout becomes a part of your day-to-day life. This same principle applies to anything you want to achieve in life. Whether it's starting a business, learning a new skill, or getting healthier, action builds momentum. The simple act of starting creates a chain reaction. When you take the first step, you send a message to your brain that says, I'm serious about this, and once you've started, it becomes much easier to take the next step. And the next. What this shows us is that action doesn't need to be massive to make an impact. In fact, it's the small, consistent actions that add up over time. A small step today leads to bigger steps tomorrow. A small habit today leads to bigger achievements in the future. Momentum is a powerful force. It's the fuel that keeps you going even when you feel like giving up. Here's a simple way to think about it. Every time you take action, you're building the habit of action. You're training your brain to believe that taking action is normal. You're conditioning yourself to take that first step without hesitation. Remember, it's not the size of the action that matters, it's the consistency. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about getting started and allowing the momentum to carry you forward. Once you've built that momentum, it's much harder to stop than it was to start. Now let's apply this to your life. Look at a goal you've been procrastinating on. What's the first step you can take today? Maybe it's just writing down one thing you need to do. Maybe it's scheduling that 1 hour of time to work on your goal. Whatever it is, commit to it. And remember, once you start, the momentum will carry you forward. Motivation comes after action. One of the biggest myths we believe is that we need to feel motivated before we can take action. We tell ourselves, once I feel motivated, I'll get started. It sounds reasonable, right? After all, who wants to do something they're not motivated to do? But here's the truth: motivation doesn't come before action, it comes after. Think about the last time you procrastinated on a task. You probably sat there thinking, I'll do it once I feel ready, or I'll get started once I feel motivated, but then the motivation never came, did it? You kept pushing it off, and the task seemed to grow bigger and bigger in your mind. Here's the secret: most people don't realize action creates motivation. When you take that first step, even if it's a small one, you're telling your brain that you're serious. You're signaling to yourself, I'm doing this, and your brain responds by giving you a little burst of motivation. That burst of motivation might seem small at first, but it's enough to help you take the next step. And once you take that next step, you get more motivation, and so on. Before you know it, the momentum from your actions is fueling your motivation. If you're still not convinced, let's look at a real-world example. Think about how you feel after a workout. If you've ever been to the gym on a day when you didn't feel like going, you know the struggle. But once you start, something magical happens. Your body wakes up, your mind clears. And by the end of the workout, you're filled with a sense of accomplishment. You might even feel energized and motivated to do more. That's the power of action. Motivation didn't show up until you started moving your body. The same applies to your goals. You won't feel motivated to take action until you actually start taking it. Think about a writer who struggles to get words on the page. They might sit at their desk for hours waiting for inspiration to hit, but nothing happens. Then they make a decision, I'm just going to write one sentence today. After writing that one sentence, they realize that it wasn't as hard as they thought. The next day they write 2 sentences, then 3. Eventually they're writing pages and the motivation is flowing because they've built the habit of action. Motivation is a byproduct of doing the work. The more you do, the more motivation you'll have to continue. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. The more you push it, the bigger it gets. One of the best ways to build momentum is to stop waiting for motivation to strike. Instead, make the decision to take action now, even if you don't feel like it. Push through the discomfort and start with just one small step. Once you do that, you'll notice that motivation follows. Now, think about your goals. How often have you put them off because you didn't feel ready or motivated? The key here is to stop waiting. Start, and the motivation will follow. Even if it's just a small step, just start. The cycle of action and motivation. Both action and motivation are part of a cycle. Action creates momentum, and momentum fuels motivation. Motivation doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment or feeling inspired, it comes from doing. When you take consistent action, even if it's small, you build the momentum that carries you forward. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait until you feel ready. Take action now, and the motivation will come with it. Start small, keep building, and before you know it, you'll be making progress towards your goals every single day. Remember, it's not about waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. Action beats perfection. One of the biggest obstacles that stands in the way of progress is the need for everything to be perfect. You think you need the perfect timing, the perfect conditions, the perfect plan, and the perfect outcome. But here's the truth you need to hear: perfection doesn't exist. You might think that if you just wait for the right moment, when everything aligns perfectly, you'll be able to do things perfectly. But the longer you wait, the further you move away from the success you want. The truth is, if you wait for everything to be perfect, you'll never start. Think about it for a moment. If you're waiting for all the stars to align, if you're waiting for the perfect situation to take action, the reality is that perfect doesn't exist. There's no such thing as the ideal conditions that will make everything easy. The world doesn't work that way. Life isn't a straight line. It's messy, unpredictable, and full of surprises. So here's the question: why wait? Why let the illusion of perfection stop you from moving forward? Instead of waiting for everything to be perfect, take action anyway. Even imperfect action is always better than inaction. Why? Because you can't learn, grow, or improve if you don't start. The only way to get better is by taking action, no matter how imperfect it might feel at first. Let me give you an example. Think about someone who's trying to start a business. They want everything to be just right. They want the perfect logo, the perfect website, the perfect pitch. But what happens? They never take the first step. They never launch their business because they're waiting for everything to fall into place. Meanwhile, someone else who's not concerned about perfection starts their business with what they have. Maybe they don't have the perfect logo or the perfect pitch, but they take action. They learn, they adjust, and over time, their business becomes successful. Why? Because they started. If you're waiting for the perfect conditions to start your journey, I can tell you right now you're holding yourself back. Perfection doesn't exist. Action does. And action beats perfection every time. This doesn't mean you shouldn't try to improve. It doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to get better. But you can't improve if you're not moving. You can't learn if you're not taking that first step. Perfection doesn't teach you anything, it just paralyzes you. Action teaches you everything you need to know. Strategies to force yourself to take action. Taking action doesn't always come easily. We all face moments of hesitation, moments when we feel like we don't have the energy, the focus, or the drive to move forward. But these are the exact moments that determine whether or not we're going to achieve our goals. The key to success is being able to push through those moments of hesitation, to force yourself into action, even when it feels difficult. The following strategies will help you break through your hesitation and force yourself to take action, no matter how big or small the task at hand is. Start small. Big goals can be overwhelming. When you set your sights on something big, it's easy to feel paralyzed by the sheer size of it. Maybe you want to write a book, but thinking about writing hundreds of pages feels impossible. Or maybe you want to get in shape, but the thought of working out for an hour every day feels too exhausting. Here's the trick: instead of focusing on the overwhelming enormity of the goal, start small. Take one tiny step. Let's say you want to write a book. Instead of thinking about writing the entire thing, focus on writing just one page, that's all. Just one page. If you can write one page, then you can write 2. Then 3. Before you know it, you're hundreds of pages into your book, and that overwhelming goal is becoming a reality. The same principle applies to anything you want to accomplish. If your goal is to get in shape, don't think about the 2-hour workout you're supposed to do. Just focus on doing 10 minutes of exercise. That's it. It's small, manageable, and doesn't feel overwhelming. But when you start small, you'll often find that once you get going, you'll keep going. 10 minutes turns into 20 minutes. 20 minutes turns into 30. Starting small removes the pressure of perfection. It makes the task feel less intimidating, which makes it easier to get started. And once you start, it's easier to build momentum and keep moving forward. The key to taking action is not about being perfect right from the start, it's about getting started. And once you've started, you'll find that progress becomes easier with each step. Set non-negotiables. One of the most powerful ways to force yourself to take action is to treat your goals like appointments. You wouldn't skip a meeting with your boss, right? So why would you skip a meeting with yourself? When you set specific times for your tasks and treat them like appointments that cannot be missed, you make it harder to make excuses. When you schedule something, you're making a commitment to yourself, and commitments matter. This is where consistency becomes crucial. Even when you don't feel like doing something, showing up for yourself even for just a few minutes keeps the habit alive. The key is to make showing up non-negotiable. Here's a simple example. If you've committed to exercising every morning, make it a rule that no matter what, you will work out for at least 10 minutes. Maybe you don't feel like it one morning. Maybe you're tired or distracted. But if you've made it a non-negotiable commitment, you show up anyway. You do those 10 minutes, and over time, those 10 minutes become a part of your routine, making it easier to push through the resistance. Non-negotiables are powerful because they eliminate the option to quit. They help you stay consistent even when the motivation is lacking. And remember, consistency is key to building habits that lead to success. Use the 5-second rule. One of the most effective tools for overcoming hesitation is a technique called the 5-second rule. It's simple, yet it's incredibly powerful. Here's how it works when you feel hesitation creeping in. When you start to second guess yourself or overthink things, count down from 5, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then just act. This technique works by short-circuiting your brain's tendency to overthink and allowing you to take action before doubt or hesitation can take over. By counting down, you break the cycle of inaction and force yourself to move forward, even if it's just in small steps. The 5-second rule is a game changer because it shifts your mindset from thinking to doing. Instead of talking yourself out of taking action, you're forcing yourself to act before your brain has a chance to convince you to wait. Start using the 5-second rule the next time you feel yourself hesitating. Whether it's making a phone call, starting a project, or even something small like getting out of bed, just count down from 5 and do it. The more you practice this, the more you'll find yourself taking action without hesitation. Taking action every day. In the end, taking action is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't. Waiting for the perfect conditions or the perfect moment will only keep you stuck. Perfection doesn't exist, but action does. And action, even imperfect action, will always get you closer to your goal than waiting for the perfect conditions. Remember, it's the small steps that matter. Start small, be consistent, and use tools like the 5-second rule to push past hesitation. Treat your goals like non-negotiable appointments and make the commitment to show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. The most important thing you can do right now is to stop waiting and start taking action. Don't let perfection hold you back. Take that first step today and keep moving forward. Your future self will thank you for it. Visualize the end result. Have you ever had a moment when you were about to start something challenging and instead of focusing on the task itself, you imagined how great it would feel once you completed it? That sense of relief, pride, and accomplishment can be one of the most powerful motivators to get moving. Visualization isn't just some feel-good concept. It's a technique used by successful people in all walks of life to push through obstacles and stay focused on their goals. The idea is simple. Close your eyes, imagine yourself at the finish line, and feel the emotions that come with completing the task. But let's break this down. Why does this work? Why is imagining success so effective in helping you take action? The power of visualization. The power of visualization lies in the mind's ability to create vivid, sensory experiences. When you visualize, you aren't just picturing the end result, you're engaging your senses, feeling the emotions, seeing the environment, and even imagining how your body feels when you've completed the task. It's as if you've already done it, and your mind starts to believe it. This isn't just theory. There have been countless studies that show how visualization can impact your performance. Athletes, for example, use this technique to mentally rehearse their actions before stepping onto the field. But it's not just athletes. Successful entrepreneurs, artists, and leaders have all recognized the value of seeing their success before it actually happens. Visualization taps into a deep mental reservoir that encourages action. It builds confidence, reduces anxiety, and most importantly, sets the stage for success. When you visualize, your brain doesn't differentiate between real and imagined experiences. This is why you can mentally rehearse something and your body will respond as if it's actually happening. Your body begins to prepare itself, your focus sharpens, and your motivation increases. Visualization creates a mental framework for what's possible, pushing you forward in a way that's difficult to achieve through sheer willpower alone. But it's not just about seeing success, it's about feeling it. And that's where the magic happens. How to visualize for maximum impact. Visualization isn't something that happens overnight. It requires practice and intention. Here's how you can start using visualization to force yourself into action every day. Get specific about the goal. The more specific you can be, the more powerful your visualization will become. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful. You need to visualize the exact outcome you're aiming for. Imagine what success looks like in the context of your specific goal. If you want to finish a project, visualize yourself completing it in detail. Picture yourself finishing the task, reviewing the work, and feeling the sense of pride and accomplishment that comes with completion. Visualize the satisfaction of crossing that finish line. The more detailed your visualization, the more your mind believes it. The mind doesn't respond as well to vague goals. You need to tap into the emotions tied to completing the task. What will it feel like? What will others say? What will be the payoff for your effort? By getting specific, you paint a mental picture that aligns your thoughts and feelings with your desired outcome. Engage your emotions. Your mind is much more likely to act when it's emotionally invested. Simply thinking about success isn't enough, you have to feel it. Visualize yourself not only completing the task, but feeling the emotions associated with success. What does it feel like when you reach the end? Do you feel proud of yourself? Relieved? Happy? Fulfilled? The stronger the emotions you attach to your goal, the more powerful your motivation becomes. Incorporate all of your senses into the visualization. Imagine the sounds, the sights, the feelings, even the smells if you can. If your goal is to launch a product, for example, picture the moment you launch it, the excitement you feel as you see customers react, and the joy that comes from watching your hard work pay off. When you tap into the emotional aspect, your body starts to align with your mental picture, creating real motivation to take action. Make it a daily practice. Just like any skill, visualization takes time to develop. You won't see drastic changes after just one session. But if you make it a daily habit, it will become a powerful tool that drives your actions. Start each day by taking a few minutes to close your eyes and visualize your goals. Set aside 5 to 10 minutes where you're undistracted, calm, and focused. Picture yourself achieving the goal. Feel the emotions. Engage your senses. Over time, this process will become automatic. You'll begin to feel that surge of motivation and energy whenever you think about your goals. And when the going gets tough, that visualization will be the anchor that keeps you going. Visualize the process, not just the outcome. While visualizing the end result is important, it's just as crucial to visualize the process, the steps you'll take to get there. Many people fail to take action because they see the goal as too far out of reach. They look at the end result and feel overwhelmed by how much work it will take to get there. But if you break it down and visualize the process, you can make the journey feel more manageable. Visualize each small step. Picture yourself doing the work, taking one action at a time. You might not be able to control everything, but you can control the next step. And the more you see yourself taking those steps, the less overwhelming the task becomes. Combine visualization with real action. Visualization isn't a substitute for real action, it's a tool to help you get started. It's a mental rehearsal that primes you to take action, but it's not enough to just visualize your success. You must follow it up with real steps, no matter how small. Think of it as laying a mental foundation. When you visualize the task, you're preparing yourself to act. But when you take that first step, you're turning your mental rehearsal into reality. Visualization can help you push past hesitation and inertia. When you've mentally rehearsed the task and you feel the emotions of success, taking action becomes the natural next step. And each small action you take builds momentum, bringing you closer to your goal. Athletes and performers, the world's top athletes, often use visualization to improve their performance. Take Olympic athletes, for example. Before they even step onto the field or track, they've already mentally rehearsed every move. They visualize themselves crossing the finish line first, feeling the rush of accomplishment. This mental practice helps them build confidence and prepare their bodies for the challenge. Entrepreneurs often use visualization to manifest their success. By picturing their businesses growing, their ideas coming to life, and their efforts paying off, they're able to stay motivated and take consistent action. Visualization helps them push past doubts and fears and reminds them that the rewards are worth the effort. Artists and artists, musicians, and writers use visualization to picture the completion of their projects. Before they start painting, writing, or performing, they visualize the final product in their minds. This process gives them the confidence to begin and the motivation to keep going, even when faced with creative blocks. In all of these cases, the common denominator is clear visualization acts as a mental blueprint for success. It prepares you emotionally and mentally to take action, and it fuels your drive to push through obstacles. The power of visualization. Visualization is a tool that anyone can use to help themselves take action. When you visualize the end result, you're creating a mental map of your journey. You're not just thinking about the finish line, you're emotionally connecting with the rewards and feelings that come with achieving your goal. By visualizing success, you prime your mind to take action. You eliminate the fear, the hesitation, and the doubts that hold you back, And when you combine visualization with real action, you create a powerful cycle of momentum that propels you forward. So the next time you find yourself struggling to start, take a moment to close your eyes, visualize the success you want to achieve, and then take that first step. With consistency, dedication, and visualization, you'll make the impossible seem possible, and you'll start moving toward your goals with a new sense of energy and purpose. Hold yourself accountable. If you've ever tried to accomplish something big on your own, you know how easy it is to fall off track? The motivation fades, distractions creep in, and before you know it, you've put off your goals for days, weeks, or even months. But here's the reality: you don't have to do it alone. In fact, holding yourself accountable is one of the most powerful ways to make progress toward your goals. It's simple. Tell someone about your goals. Let them know what you're working toward. Share your progress with them. When others are aware of what you're striving for, it creates an invisible but powerful force that keeps you on track. Accountability is not just about having someone check in on you. It's about creating a system that makes you more likely to follow through. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm self-motivated. I don't need anyone else to push me, and while self-motivation is important, there's something powerful about knowing that someone else is watching, waiting, and rooting for your success. It's not about pressure, it's about commitment. Let's take a deeper dive into how accountability works and why it's so effective. The power of external accountability. At the core, accountability is about responsibility. When you tell someone about your goals, you are putting yourself in a position where you now have to answer to someone else. This creates a powerful external force that helps push you toward your destination. Think about it this way: when you make a promise to a friend, a colleague, or a mentor, you are more likely to follow through because you don't want to let them down. You've attached a sense of obligation to the promise. The same principle applies when it comes to your goals. When you tell someone about what you're working toward, you create an external incentive to follow through. It's no longer just about your own commitment, it's about your integrity and your word. Additionally, sharing your goals with someone else gives you a built-in support system. They can encourage you when you're struggling, celebrate your wins, and help you stay focused when distractions threaten to pull you off course. But it's more than just encouragement, it's a partnership. Accountability helps you stay focused. One of the biggest reasons we fail to follow through on our goals is a lack of focus. It's easy to get distracted by the demands of daily life, the urgent but unimportant tasks, or the next shiny thing that catches our attention. Without a clear sense of focus, our progress becomes inconsistent. Accountability partners, however, help keep us focused. They don't just ask, "How's it going?" They ask, "What specific steps have you taken toward your goal?" This brings you back to the task at hand. Here's the difference: when you're working alone, it's easy to lose sight of the big picture. You can convince yourself that putting something off doesn't matter because there's no one else checking in. But when you've made your goals known to someone else, you are forced to confront your lack of progress and remind yourself of why you started in the first place. Having someone who holds you accountable ensures that you stay on course. They help you keep your eyes on the prize, even when life gets in the way. And when your accountability partner asks, "What's next?" it pushes you to keep making progress, even if it's just one small step at a time. Accountability reduces procrastination. We've all been there, sitting in front of a task, knowing it needs to get done, but somehow finding every excuse not to start. Procrastination is one of the biggest enemies of success. The longer we wait to take action, the more daunting the task becomes, and the cycle of delay continues. But when you're accountable to someone else, procrastination loses its power. Why? Because it's harder to justify putting things off when someone else is waiting to hear about your progress. Think about it: if you have a meeting with a colleague or mentor in a few days to discuss your progress, are you more likely to procrastinate? Or are you more likely to take action so that you don't show up empty-handed? The pressure of knowing that someone else is expecting you to deliver forces you to take that first step and keep going. Accountability works because it creates an external deadline. Deadlines force us to act, to plan, and to make things happen. Without accountability, we might tell ourselves, "I'll do it tomorrow," and before we know it, days turn into weeks. But when someone else is counting on us, we're more likely to take action today. The role of mentors and accountability partners. Now let's dive into how you can use external accountability to your advantage. The most effective way to hold yourself accountable is by partnering with someone who has your best interests at heart, someone who can give you guidance, support, and gentle push when needed. This could be a mentor, a coach, or even a friend who is on a similar journey. Mentors. Mentors are incredibly powerful accountability partners because they have the experience and wisdom to guide you. They've been where you are, and they can provide insight into how to navigate challenges. When you tell a mentor about your goals, they can help you break them down into actionable steps and give you advice on how to stay focused. Mentors not only hold you accountable, but they also help you avoid common pitfalls. They can see potential problems before they arise and help you stay on track. And just knowing that you have someone who cares about your progress is a huge motivator. Accountability partners. An accountability partner doesn't need to be an expert in your field. They just need to be someone who is committed to their own goals as well. You don't have to walk this journey alone. An accountability partner is someone you check in with regularly to share your progress, discuss challenges, and brainstorm solutions together. The key is consistency. If you meet once a week or even once a month, it creates a structured environment that helps both of you stay on track. It's a two-way street. You both commit to making progress and you hold each other to a high standard. This kind of partnership is invaluable because it creates a sense of shared purpose. You're not just working toward your own goals, you're helping each other succeed. And when you know that someone else is depending on you, it gives you the extra push you need to keep going. Friends and family. Sometimes an accountability partner can be someone close to you, friends or family who support your goals and want to see you succeed. While they may not have expertise in the area you're working on, their encouragement and interest in your success can still be motivating. Be open with them about your goals. Tell them what you're working toward and let them know how they can help hold you accountable. Ask them to check in with you, ask questions, and give you feedback. The key is to make your goals visible to them so they can provide the necessary encouragement and motivation when needed. Accountability and self-discipline. Accountability doesn't just help you take action, it helps you build self-discipline. When you know that someone else is counting on you, you naturally develop the habits of focus, consistency, and dedication. Over time, these habits become second nature. You begin to realize that your success is directly tied to the actions you take every day. And the more accountable you are to others, the stronger your discipline becomes. When you're self-disciplined, you don't need constant reminders or someone else to push you. The desire to follow through becomes ingrained in your mindset. And eventually you'll find that you don't need external accountability as much. You'll become your own motivator. The power of accountability. At the end of the day, holding yourself accountable is about more than just meeting deadlines or checking off tasks. It's about commitment, integrity, and the drive to make things happen. Accountability partners, mentors, and even friends and family can all help you stay focused, overcome procrastination, and push through difficult moments. But ultimately, it's up to you. You have to be willing to make your goals known and to put in the work, even when no one is watching. Accountability gives you the structure and the motivation to keep going, but it's your own self-discipline and determination that will see you through to the finish line. So find someone you trust, share your goals with them, and start taking consistent action toward your success, because when you hold yourself accountable, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Here's the truth: daily action isn't just about achieving goals, it's about becoming the kind of person who achieves them. Every time you take action, you're building discipline, confidence, and resilience. Imagine this a year from now. What could your life look like if you took just one small action every day? The compound effect of consistent effort is life-changing. The people who achieve their dreams aren't the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who act day in and day out, no matter what. The conclusion: your time is now. So what's stopping you? The fear of failure? The need for perfection? The hope that tomorrow will somehow feel easier? Let go of those excuses. There's no better time than now to take that first step. Remember, action isn't about feeling ready, it's about deciding that your goals are worth the effort, even when it's hard.